Hi fellow followers, today I want to make another wedding video. I feel like I've gotten a lot of feedback from that. A lot of people that have been curious about wedding planning because they're doing it themselves now. And I want to give you all the best feedback possible. And this is coming from somebody I'm engaged. I'm getting married in 4 months now and it's getting real for me. So today I decided to do a video on the do's and the don'ts in wedding planning. Let's start with the do's. Let's start with a positive note here. I have 3 of each. I have 3 do's and 3 don'ts. The first one I really want to point out is that I highly recommend, and I mean highly recommend, a seating chart. Definitely if you have a super dysfunctional family like me, if you do not have a dysfunctional family and you are not really concerned about it, here's a couple things that you need to still consider. First off, you pay per table, you also pay per plate, but generally you're paying more per table if you're paying for venue outright, and you also need to make sure you have the space for it. So let's say you don't do a seating chart and you have people that can sit wherever they please, and you have generally a lot of couples, and then you have a couple single people that don't have that date or they don't have anybody to bring, so they have to find a seat to sit at. A lot of people will gravitate towards people they already know. They don't want to go outside of their box, so they're going to find, a table that they know there are people at. The problem that lies here is when people will not choose to sit with people they don't know. So right there, they're not going to socialize. You're going to get people in cliques pretty much. And then secondly, you're going to find yourself in the problem where people are going to sit wherever they want. And then you're going to be left with tables that have empty seats, and then tables that need to be, maybe they need extra tables because there's no room for a random 3 couple people. I don't know. There could be a lot of issues that arise with not having a seating chart and having a seating chart. Although it is complicated and stressful to try to plan out, it's a lot better in the end to just have it organized. The second do that I want to clarify: budget your wedding accordingly. Budget and organize. Okay, let me just specify on that. Seriously, budget and organize. So what I mean by this: budgeting your wedding, you absolutely want to make sure that you're budgeting in the areas that you feel is most important and is the least important. Before you start diving into random things you're planning for, make a little chart of things that you find are the most important parts of your wedding. Do you think having a really good DJ, having a great atmosphere is important? Do you think photography or videography is really important? Do you want really amazing food? Is that like your number one thing? What is your number one spending? And then what's your least spending? So really consider those things there. And then what I mean by organize, so you can organize within your budget, but also, like, I have a couple videos on wedding organizing tips. It's really important. I don't have a wedding planner. I am my own wedding planner. So having organizers and calendars and countdowns and all of these things are really important. It makes your life way less stressful. Write things down as you go. Write things down as you think of something, because your mind is going to be scattered. You're not going to be thinking about everything that you need to do all at once. My hand motions are awesome. All right, the final do. I want to clarify that you should be clarifying your exact stipulations to people, because I have learned people don't know how to read. I have a no+1 rule on mine. Okay, I'm paying most of this wedding myself. Me and my fiance, we have to pay for this ourselves. Weddings are not cheap. We wish we could invite all the people we want to invite, but we cannot afford it. Are these people going to pay me for the food and drinks they're going to have? No, I did not think so. Do you think I want to spend money on somebody I don't know? As heartless as that sounds, it is the way it is, and I'm not doing that. So I clarified on my save the dates and my RSVP cards on the very bottom, please no +1s. I have gotten people that randomly were in public saying they're gonna bring so-and-so that was with them. Okay, I get it. I invited couples that were married, or maybe they're engaged, or they've been together for a really long time. That I get, but just getting a date that is just an overnight date is not okay with me. So that was my stipulation. I also would prefer not to have small children at the wedding, but of course I'm not gonna do that. That's just gonna open a can of worms that I don't want to open. However, if any of you are watching that are coming to my wedding that have small children, please refrain from bringing them. I don't care if they're very close to the family. I don't care if they're like literally intermediate family. Like, please don't bring them, okay? It causes a lot more problems. We want you to have fun. We want you to be able to spend the night drinking and enjoying yourself without learning about your children. So yeah, anyway. Clarify your stipulations exactly and make sure that your people understand it. I don't have my wedding hasn't happened yet. It's in 4 months. So I will update you guys on the things that happened that weren't so great. I do have anxiety about a lot of things that are gonna happen, but the number one thing that I fear is that people are going to bring others that I've specified no plus ones, and they're not gonna have a seat because everything has a seating chart and their names aren't gonna be there. They're not gonna have a place to sit, and it's gonna be really awkward for them because they didn't listen and they didn't know how to read. They were illiterate. Now, since we kind of ended on a pessimistic note, let's go to the don'ts, okay? This is not necessarily a pessimistic thing. It's just something that I want you guys to really understand because I've learned this throughout this process. First off, don't even think about listening to what other people's opinions are, or for that matter, letting it change the way you want to do your wedding. I have to, this makes me so mad. I have to say to you guys, the most stressful part of wedding planning is other people. They think that they want to express their opinions because they think their opinion counts and that their opinion is what is going to happen. I've had people that have told me what they feel about, whom I'm inviting or who I'm not inviting or where I'm having my wedding or the fact that I'm not having it in a church or this or that, blah, blah. And it's like, you know what? You're not paying for this. You're not getting married, last I checked, and I'm doing my part by inviting you to an event I've created and I am paying for. You can shut your mouth and enjoy the ride. Just chill, okay? Anyway, so we absolutely don't want to listen to other people. Just be yourself. The second don't is please don't wait till the last second to plan things. I mean, that is how you create your own issues with wedding planning. I started immediately after I got engaged. If you aren't ready to have a wedding or if you're not financially stable enough and you can't budget that in, because trust me, it's a lot more expensive than you'd think. And people might help, your parents may help, but it's gonna cost so much money in the long run for you out of your pocket that if I didn't save for years, for things that might happen in a savings account, I wouldn't have been able to do this. So definitely save your money first and then plan ahead of time. So if you aren't ready and you're engaged and you want to plan for a wedding, you definitely need to give yourself at least a year, an entire year, because you have to plan these things accordingly. They can't just be set up in like a couple months and then boom. It's just not that simple. As much as you wish it could be that simple, people need time, things are booked, venues are booked, especially destination weddings. I've looked into that a lot. And they have weddings all the time. So good luck trying to do that last second. But yeah, so definitely don't take your sweet time on that. The absolute last thing you don't wanna do is you don't want to spend money on things that people aren't going to remember and it's not going to be important anyway. Things such as pamphlets for the wedding. I'm sorry, but have you ever been to a wedding where you remembered the pamphlets because they were so beautiful and they were so nicely coordinated? I don't think so. Same with timesheets. I think they're a little unnecessary. I thought to myself at first I was going to do pamphlets and I was going to do timesheets. They are way too time consuming. They are way too expensive anyway. My invitations were crazy expensive for whatever reason. They were pretty standard. I mean, they were adorable, but they were standard invites and that they were still hundreds of dollars. And it's like, are you serious? So just kind of ixnay the timesheets and pamphlets unless you absolutely feel they're necessary. Anything that you can kind of think, like, what was something from a wedding you'd either gone to or something that you don't feel people are going to really capture from that night or day. Don't spend the money on that. Like I said, budget from the beginning and decide what you want people to really notice and capture from the day, especially you. What do you want to spend your money on? All the rest, does it really matter, and is it really worth it?
All right, guys, well, I hope that this really helped you kind of just get a little understanding of a couple do's and don'ts that I felt was most important from my wedding planning process. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Please click the little bell button. That will alert you when my videos are posting. I usually post at least twice a week, but I try to do more than that if I can. And I will put my links to my social media platforms here for you now. Have a great day.